What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Okay, let's dive in then to Derek Carr and kind of explore a bit the question of, are you more or less excited for Derek Carr? And how did he look in this first experience that you had with him as the New Orleans Saints quarterback? First look at our new boo, if you will. You had your rookie minicamp, you had your voluntary OT days, you had your mandatory minicamp, and now players report in less than a month, July 24th, for training camp. And I'll start here. A lot of Saints writers, who I really respect and trust and love to read, seem to be pretty head over heels for Derek Carr. Word on the street is he feels like the real deal. I would ask a question to you boys. Maybe not you as much, Taylor, but certainly you, Mario. If you're listening, the only reason I said Taylor's more of a Cowboys fan, so I don't know how closely you follow kind of the Saints ins and outs. But the one question that I have is, I love reading and all this positive stuff, but I did also read it with Jameis. Maybe not as positive, right? There was always a little bit more like, well, you know, James, it was really good, but James, there was always a little bit more hesitance, but it was still overwhelmingly positive. I don't even know if I trust myself after how I felt about the Jameis situation. So, Mara, I guess I would ask you, does it do anything to hear from these, again, very good Saints writers that Derek Carr seems like the real deal?
I think so. I think there's something to be said for being there every day, like those guys are. I also respect them. But as far as my opinion goes, I definitely want to see him play in a game. I think he's primed for success. I think he's a big step up from what the Saints have had the last 2 years post-Drew Brees. And frankly, I think he has a much better offense around him, man. The acquisitions the Saints made this offseason, Jamal Williams. You'll hopefully get Michael Thomas back healthy, fingers crossed, knocking on wood. More experience for Shaheed. Jawan Johnson continues to develop. People have doubts about Carmichael, which I understand, but I think Derek Carr is primed to have a good season, and I am getting more and more excited, but not going to get too excited till I actually see him in the black and gold.
Yeah, and you got Taysom Hill. I think my biggest question mark is really the offensive line. What's Trevor Penning's status going to be? Can Ryan Ramczyk getting back to being on the Hall of Fame trajectory that he was on early on, where he's just posting all pros year in and year out? What's
Huge year for Ruiz
going to look like this year? Who I believe they've declined his fifth-year option. So yeah, there's a lot to break down on, there's a lot riding on the development and the cohesiveness of that offensive line, and nothing can doom a team more than having a bad O-line, which I don't know. It could go either way, honestly. The O-line does kind of balance on a knife's edge here.
Yeah, Teron Armstead's just presence has been missed. I know people complained about him missing games, which that's a different conversation, but just his presence on the offensive line I think has really been missed. Ramczyk and McCoy need to step up in that regard.
And I don't remember the numbers, but randomly during last football season, there were a bunch of numbers showing just how Miami's rushing success, especially behind Armstead, had increased and how it had fallen off. Yes, you missed Teron Armstead, certainly. But that's why you drafted Trevor Penning. Now, he caught one of the worst injuries a big man can get in a Liz Frank at the worst possible time. So that's a bit stressful. And that's a massive inflection point on trying to predict the success of this season. And it's you just don't really know at this point. Left tackle is going to go a long way towards helping Derek Carr. But then again, Derek Carr will go a long way towards helping a left tackle, because the best thing ever as an alignment is a quarterback that is going to get rid of the ball. And if you've been an NFL quarterback for 10 years, your internal clock is so razor sharp, you know exactly when that ball has to be coming out. It's something my old man used to always talk about. That's actually another reason why I'm not going to allow myself yet. Well, I actually guess I already have, but I guess it bears mentioning. I've talked to the Cannon lately, and he's been, Carr's good, but he hasn't been overly impressed. He is, and remember, this dude was keeping it pretty real with Jameis last year too. When we were all falling in head over heels, he was basically saying, not really. He was like, look, if you were an alien and you came down to watch practice, you would probably think Andy Dalton was the starting quarterback. And lo and behold, now injuries and other things maybe discolored this all. Like, we still never got the full look at James. Who knows who never tears it? I get all of this.
Yeah, I still don't think that was the right call straight up. I know it's semantics and spilled milk right now, but I think they could have handled the James situation a little bit better.
Well, I would have just loved to see him get a chance again after he was healthy, because it's not like Andy Dalton was accomplishing you anything.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Like, that's fine. That's fine. But the point is, the cannon kept it pretty real back then. And when I talked to him, I was like, dude, I heard like Carr's been kicking ass. And he was like, this was early on. This was right at the beginning of OTAs. And he's kind of like, I guess. I don't know. Not really. So we'll see, man. I will say this. If there is one thing that Carr does bring, it is an unquestioned confidence and veteran leadership. And that is something real. Like, you cannot overlook, at least in this portion of the season, because like everything else now, it can dissipate. Like, if you go out there and you just suck, yeah, it can dissipate. It doesn't matter. But it's not like he came in here and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, it's not really a fit. Like, the team's not responding. Maybe he's not getting on with the coaches. Like, things can go awry quickly. And that didn't happen. In fact, the complete opposite has taken place, where it seems like the team believes in him. It seems like the staff especially believes in him. And according to everybody who's been at practice every single day, you can feel that belief and that cohesion creating some of that alignment that we're constantly talking about in sports nowadays. And then I would also say one of the differences made from the situation the last couple of years is he is clearly the best quarterback on the roster. Like, there is no debate about, well, if you were an alien, you came down, you would think that this guy was acting. No. If you were the alien, you would clearly know that Derek Carr was the best option. So, on the whole, I think Derek Carr did about as much as you can in this portion of the season, right? Like, I don't care how good you actually look on the field. Nobody is going to suddenly declare you MVP. It's not going to dissipate any of the doubters that don't believe in Derek Carr. It's not going to convince you, if you've already got your mind made up, that it's going to have to wait till games. That's all well and good. But again, you also avoided, like, I guess the point is this: there's probably less to be gained in this portion of the season than there is to be lost, and he didn't lose anything. I think he made some incremental gains, if anything, and that's a good sign going forward. So we'll see. Less than a month, boys. July 24th is Report Day. Let's go. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.